Hello and welcome to Intuitive Clarifications with Natasha. I am here to support you in your life's journey with my opinion, my consciousness, and my team's knowing. So today is one of those days that if I'm feeling a little off energetically, I'm kind of negotiating I call them migraines because guess what I did? Have you noticed on my posts that I do that I'm redoing a front room? I painted the whole room yesterday, ceiling to walls. And, if people have known me, I've had this shoulder thing. And, it's healing through the years. It's been healing. Hi, Paula. Thank you for being here. And Veronica, thank you for being here. And so I've been negotiating, helping my body heal in its what it wants to heal. And so yesterday I knew it was a day that I probably in a normal past life thing, and I would consider that last year, that I would have probably not done the walls, but it was a day. I had a day, I could do it. So I did it. Today, body saying, I think I've taken 3-4 naps today because this thing is like scenarioing. And so But I did it, and I'm gonna have to redo the ceiling though. But that's okay because the ceiling hasn't been painted for years, and I'm okay with that. It's like my mother-in-law said, when you put clothes in a closet, right? They dry, so the walls are dry, and I should have gotten enough for 3 layers. Well, I don't want to do 3 layers, so I'm trying to do 3 layers, 2 layers in one spot, and then the other spots I'm just going to touch up. So with that, this is all part of the change, right? This is all part of life's changing. And hello, happy Wednesday. I'm proud of you. Your paint job, yeah, it's perfectly imperfect, and I'm actually good with it. But you know I think the walls, if there's a few spots that I'm going to touch up anyways, but the ceiling is just a little more skitchish than I need. It's like you can really see where I rollered, and then my roller stick broke, and so I had to finish it with a little bit more. But you live and learn, and this is part of how I came to this decision to do this. Is that because you know after I had gotten done with that, I had a conversation with a friend. And that friend she sat on the front porch. We're having a garage sale this weekend. So she sat on the front porch after she brought things. And, she just moved. She had just moved from, and she wouldn't mind me talking about this, that, she just moved from a house that she raised her boys in for a very long time, most of them since childhood. And it was a place that they were renting, and the landlord said, you need to move because we want to go through and fix it up, and then we want to rent it for hire, but we need to fix it up, which means we want you to move. And so with that because they were kind of grandfathered in, so it was just one of those things. But what she did is that she took that moment, as much as it was hardship, and she's got 5 boys, and not every of those boys really wanted to move, and not all of them moved to her embetterment, but because she found a place to move to. She loves where she's at. And actually her 2 boys that moved with her, that are younger, high school, kind of in that age, that they were saying that actually I'm grateful for this move. And then the other kids that were moving, she created boundaries with them. She created understandings with them. She created, this time, because if anybody knows how about raising kids, is like at that middle of that time from basically 16 to 25. It's about boundaries and who wants to grow up, who wants to stretch and pull, and it's perfectly imperfect. Nobody's perfect at it by any means, but what it did was it gave her boundaries. And like each one has decided to get an animal. Not everybody treats their animals as she would. And so she's basically said, if you want me to watch your animals, it's a no. This is a new place. I don't want my landlord doesn't want animals here. So she's using the landlord as an excuse, right? But at the same time, it's a good excuse. I don't want anything to come back on me. And actually, one of her kids ended up saying that we don't want to ruin this good thing for us. And so even her kids who moved up there with her is doing this. And so, I want people to know that going through these endings with new beginnings, if you really look at it with the understanding that there is this magic that can happen. And even me doing these walls, and the funny thing is, though, gotta be careful what you manifest because it's like when I was doing the walls and stuff. Well, when my mother-in-law was here after my stepson got married, and I'm sorry for this explanation here, but it's a perfect scenario about change, right? So I'm just applying my life to what I'm talking about here. That I was talking to her about how, if I didn't have my desktop computer, I could get rid of that desk. But my husband likes to use that desk and that computer to pay bills. And I'm like going, but I really want to get rid of that monstrosity. I mean, it's just a big thing and it gets to be a collection of things and that kind of stuff. And I said, I have a desk here, this little desk, and you'll have to excuse it because all my front room has come into my spiritual room. So this little desk here, I would love to put that in my front room, right? Because it goes with the antiques I have. It goes with a lot of things. And guess what happened yesterday when I was painting? My computer took a crap. It doesn't work. My son actually said that he could go down to factory understandings and reapply the windows, right? Because he said it's missing its steps, but it's like an 18, 16, 20, 10-year-old computer, right? And it's not necessarily that we use it a lot, but it's an old computer nevertheless. And so with that, it kind of took a crap. And I asked my husband, not on the best day, but I talked to him about it. And he said, well, why should we get it going? And I said, basically, if you want something, we can buy you it's his birthday. I might just buy it for him, buy him a tablet or a laptop for him to, do his, poor eyesight negotiations on computer instead of on his phone, which is smaller, right? So, that's the thing is that, you gotta be careful what you manifest. For one. And actually I think the house is saying, yeah, that old story needs to go too. We're having a garage sale. Perfect timing, right? And so I'm trying to move with it. And I know that this desk over here, it's not at the height, my 6-foot husband, and I would need to raise it up just a little bit for him to have more room. But why not? Why not have something that he can use to engage with himself in that way? And, you know, I would be grateful actually for that corner because it's actually in feng shui, it's my helpful people corner. I would love to make it feel cleaner, less it's less chaotic and all these different things. And so I have to talk with him a little bit more. And my house is all up in roar. And when my house is up in roar and I do feng shui, this house loves to be feng shuied. And it's getting past the time of being feng shuied. So as much as he says I can understand the time it is, energetically, it needs to go back. It needs to go back. So I'm going to be really working on this. Even if my body says no, I still have to do it tomorrow. But that's the thing is change is happening. And like my girlfriend talking about it, that, she was saying that things are happening. And I know you, Paula, and you, Veronica, have gone through so much internal change, external change, that you could probably see the benefits of why this change happened for you, even though it didn't. Because even you, Paula, your cat went missing, right? And, that's a big change. Me, my Rocky went missing. That's a big change. But what I'm seeing is that, and this is one thing that I want people to understand is that if you can stay in gratitude for when things happen, when you can stay in, this might be the reason. Because right now, if I had a cat in this house, especially if he was indoor, he would be climbing everywhere and into everything. He would have been in my paint. He would have been helping me. He would have been, and right now I can have doors open, especially with it being warm. It's nice to have the air circulating better. It's these moments where, I have to look at, I really so much miss him. I so want him back. I so love him. But there's a little bit different energy field with him not being here that has been actually beneficial through this change. And that might be why he's not coming back, is that I needed to go through this energetic change. And so going into this, that there's a reason for things happening. And then, synchronicities, I was reading this book. And this book, I'm going to open up my Kindle here and just to make sure I quote the author, because not quote the author, but get the gist of who the author is. So it's her name is Brenda Trim, and Brenda Trim, and she does the mystical midlife, and it's about witches and becoming a witch. And I love those just simple reads when I'm going to bed. I don't want complication. I do not want self-help books when I'm going to sleep. I do enough work in my sleep. I just want something that is just there. And I get self-help through like even reading these simple magic books. And these Witchery in Maine is the series, and there's a couple that interweave where they're friends and they become friends, and and this one witch who is and I'm going to shorten the story up real quick, so I apologize, but she is a witch. There's like certain witches through the world that take care of certain regions of the area, and so she became one of those witches. And as she became one of those witches, and this, I'm going to get to why this is important at this time here in just a few seconds here, that as she became one of these witches, that, she took over where a witch passed away. This witch passed away. So she gave her magic. And as that happens, the family comes in, the people that were on the land helping this pre-witch helps, and that kind of stuff. Well, actually, there's a semigod that came in, and he became in love with this one Phoebe witch. And he is actually the son of Persephone and Hades, the god of the underworld, right? So there's been a lot of this interaction of the gods and goddesses. And so so this son of these gods, they actually, Persephone ended up having her kind of did her little magic, and so now Phoebe's carrying triplets. Okay, so she's pregnant with triplets. She already has 2 kids that are raised, but this guy, the Hayden, wanted his own kids in some ways, was happy not, but yet at the same time, since he's lived so many lifetimes and Phoebe's more human, but she's a witch, so she'll live longer. She decided they ended up with triplets, right? And in this triplet thing, can you imagine what magic these triplets carry? Well, she woke up one morning and she had these old ruins on her tummy. Okay. Didn't know where they came from. Well, as the story goes on, right? I'm hurrying this up. I apologize. That she found out that there was keepers of the old magic. This is where it gets important to what energy we're working into right now, because this is a great metaphor. That there was keepers. So there's 3 facets of these keepers. The keepers that could see that this was they were supposed to keep the old magic, but knew that the way that the other 2 facets of the keepers, because there's 3 facets, that they were binding this old magic. And the word that they used was the first song. The first song. And I went, wow, isn't that a statement? The first song. Because what these keepers are doing is they're keeping this knowledge for before gods and goddesses, before time, before, basically when Earth was made, but it's all in different realms and everything, because they go into different realms as gods and goddesses, right? So they all go into different understandings and, whatever platform they are on, right? So, this gods and goddesses, this ancient magic was before them. Well, these babies were triggering this ancient magic to awaken, to reawaken into its new knowing. So the one facet of the keepers were trying to keep the babies, because there's different pregnant witches, and those babies were trying to be awake and have magic. But then the keepers that didn't want, they wanted to keep the magic bound, they were snubbing the magic of the babies in the womb. What has the world been doing to us? Just going to make that statement. This is not a conspiracy. This is an understanding. So going into this, that this is the kind of change we're going through right now. That when so the keeper that was good was trying to help the other people who had magic in their womb, the babies. Well, all the babies started coming together and their magic interwoven. And the babies that Phoebe was holding with the god and her magic, the triplets, they knew that they were here to create they were here to break the new song free. The new song. And I just finished with the book. And it was interesting how the creator or the keepers of the good that knew that things had to keep going, that binding that old magic was not a good thing. It was about power. They wanted power, right? They wanted power. And coming into this. So what did they do? They all went. But to break the song free, and this is the thing is that they went into a room that had all crystals. It was all crystals where the room that they went into, right? So as they came in, but they needed a facet of each of those keepers, because each of those keepers bound the first song. Well, as the crescendo was happening, as the moment was happening, that the good keeper was saying, hey, we can't stop this. This is happening anyways. The changes that are going on right there, right? Sometimes when you have to move, that's something you can't stop. My computer stopping. I can fix it maybe. There's ways to negotiate it, but is it worth it, right? So all these changes that we're going through, all these things, can we really stop that moment of, woo, the first song? The first song. And so coming into this, that even there's a couple of the keepers that were like, usually there's people fighting them. Stop, stop, stop. We need to keep it bound. But the thing is, though, if we keep the stopping or the change, if we keep the change from changing, if we don't allow that change to happen, like it was said in the book, it was going to destroy everything. It was going to destroy what we have. It would destroy. And so if we do not allow change to happen, so there's a mantra I've been having, because my husband actually, has been mentioning that he wants to sell this house, and I'm personally not ready. I know that's part of my double cancerian. It doesn't want to move. It doesn't like to move very well. But I understand. So I've been saying this mantra. I am so absorbing, allowing, and walking with movement. At this time, moving from this house, in this dimension, in this reality, at this moment, in this second of time, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to that story. I want to, like I was thinking, I want to stay in my happiness that I have right now. Things are good. I don't want to disrupt my happiness right now. Yes, I'm painting my front room. Yes, I have my messes all around me. Yes, I have all these things that are happening. So it's not perfect by any means, right? But it's part of it. And as I was walking out to see about, if I can move this desk into there, because I need something to bring it up, that a cricket or a grasshopper popped out in front of me and just sat there. And he actually looked up at me, right? But that's about leaping, that leaping into new understandings, leaping into that new, going forward. What does it munch on? It munches on the grasses. And actually, sometimes when things are dry is when there's a lot of them going through, right? So the grasshoppers are about when things are dry, when you think you don't have nothing, get ready to leap, because about the time when things are at the worst, at their hardest, is when you leap forward. You can't have the opportunity to relieve. So like moving, like my girlfriend who moved, I walked out, I was just pulled to her place when she was moving from a place by me. And I was just pulled to her place and I ended up taking 2 loads of her stuff to my house. One was for the garage sale and one was Christmas stuff because she just didn't have enough room in her place right now. She needs to go through things. So that moment where I knew that she was so exhausted, she was just so done, she just couldn't do it anymore. She just couldn't allow herself to maneuver like she wanted to, right? That I came and assisted her. The grasshopper, right? That grasshopper. When she was at their wits' end, she's just tired, she's done. And it's like that last box to pick up is usually the hardest thing to do when you're moving, right? It's amazing. And you think that you have all the energy when you're moving. You have all this energy. It's just like me. I was at the point where I was starting to do my primer and I had the image of me taking off the tape and vacuuming and shampooing in the back of things. Right. So my intuition gave me the idea of how fresh and new this idea was going to be. Now, did I think I was going to have to do a second coat on my ceiling? I had possibilities. Hope I have enough paint to do it, you know, because I ended up tinting well, actually they can match the paint, right? They can match the paint if I need to get another half a quart or half a pint, half a gallon. That, it's one of those things. So going into this, that change is part of life. The thing is, though, how do we move through it? And, my mantra is I'm asking for grace and ease with this whole story. I'm asking for blessings. And as my husband's in the crescendo right before his birthday and this uproar, and usually right before our birthdays, when you get into that big, like, life review. Why is this thing happening to me? Why is things so hard? Why is this always here? The whys. And I love him. He's more of a pessimist. I'm more of an optimist. Okay. So going into this, but how do we want to allow that new song? I'm going to go back to that story. How do we want to let that old magic song of amazingness and brilliance and love and kindness that can come into our life, that can come into our understanding? But it's about perception. It's about understanding. It's about reasons. It's about loving ourselves. It's about understanding ourselves. And, it's like even me with basically having a pretty good migraine today, that, I didn't really use my arms at all today. I just couldn't do anything. I didn't want to even lift anything. That I knew that this is breaking me into a new understanding of myself, right? That this is part of that evolution of understanding that my body has been better than it's ever been. Yet it still has a little tendency to dance into its old story. And so when you are moving through these changes and when you are going through this, the perception is a lot of it. Because I know if my husband moved from this house, it might be a quick fix. The excitement of having something new. But then 6 months to a year later, the grass isn't always greener. And I have an understanding of that right now. Now, there's going to be a time when I'm going to move to a smaller house. Yes, I get that. I get that. At this minute and this second in time, in this dimension that I'm in, I am ready for movement. The moving can wait. So do you see how I'm allowing movement to happen? I'm allowing the universe to move with me. I'm allowing this application of the world to move with me. I'm allowing this understanding. And as I was taking down the wallpaper, I could have actually done backwards, but I've been painting clockwise because I want to bring in the world of abundance. I want to bring in new understandings. I want to bring in new kindness. I want to bring in new understandings. And even though I was taking down old wallpaper, I was creating new love for the room. And it was kind of interesting because there's these 2 hearts. I think I showed you. Actually, a friend looked at it and says, that's a chicken it was a chicken and a hummingbird, she said. Great metaphors too, the chicken and the hummingbird. Great metaphors for this new idea of the room. So going into this, that as we have these ebb and flows, right? These ebb and flows of understandings as we're going through these changes that, you know, it is about keeping ourselves moving in the rhythm. Now, my brain really wanted to get to the ceiling today, but I knew if I did it today, oh my gosh. And where my husband is in energetically, that because Mercury went out of retrograde as of I think Monday. So really we're starting to move into what did that teach us? How do we have our better communication? How do we have our story recreate? What did that Mercury in retrograde show you that you needed to work on? The rethinks, the reknows, the re-understandings. So I was basically taking the wallpaper off my walls during Mercury retrograde. So this is all about the new story. And the front room is about home. It's about that earthiness. This is where community can meet. This is where I put my Christmas tree. So it's where things are in loving kindness. So with that centered home is part of that journey. And so, coming into this, and as I'm talking, I'm like losing hair. And so it's about shedding off the old story and coming into new. So that's why I'm like fidgeting because I'm feeling it on my skin. But that's the thing is that even days like this where, the head is kind of hurting and things aren't necessarily where I want to be. But the thing is, though, I'm understanding that this is a great time for me to work on those old rhythm things, those old conversations. So, in other words, that, I'm grateful that I have this time that I can rest a little bit and take that time, take a sick day legally, you know, and doing these things that can really support me and do what we're doing. And change is going to be, but remember, if you're not ready for physical change, be ready for movement and move with it. Move with what needs to come through. The movement of our life is very important. And oh my gosh, Mother Earth is doing her changes, right? There's volcanoes going off. There's all these different things. And like my girlfriend was saying that, she came up from Arizona and she says, well, if Mount Rainier or Mount Baker here go, I'm leaving right away. And I was like, and I checked in and I heard Mount Rainier say that it was just going to be doing a little, maybe some steam. Mount Baker says, nah, other parts of our family are letting go of the energy. And so she was saying that, no, that's okay, Diane. Thank you for being here. That the mountains, Mount Rainier, I live in the Cascades, so Mount Baker is not even a half an hour from my house. And so if it blew, my house would be gone. Talk about movement. Asking for healing on this, cancel, clear, delete that it said no, because Russia, there's volcanoes going off, Iceland, there's other things going on. And as the understanding of a lot of these applications is that, Earth is moving too. And so when we're asking for movement, like I've moved my things in, on the sides here because of if there's an earthquake that happens. I know a lot of my things on my windows are going to fall, right? But it depends on what kind of earth shake we have. Is it a rolling one or is it just a shake, right? So, Earth is going to be doing her changes. She's been going through a lot. Us humans have done a lot to her for many years. And, even though we have our star beings that are part of this understanding, that we have star beings that are the star nation that is part of our moon and as part of our earth here, that that going into who we are and what we're doing, that's part of the change that's coming in too, is that they're going to be doing this. I don't have hot flashes, but it is warm here today, so I'm going to turn the fan on that's over my head. So I'm going to step away for just a second, but you're going to still hear me. So as we go into these changes, and like I talked about with this book, it's almost like our old song is going to come back. A lot of these moments where, just like the fan overhead going on, that's helping change to happen. It's changing the air. That, when we're going into a lot of these things that are unknown, that, that crescendo moment where the keepers, all three keepers said, you know what, we're not going to be stopping it anyway. So let's get it moving. Let's have this song come in so it can do its work of blessings instead of destruction. And so, how do you go into this energy field of blessings and, knowings? And it's about having the good boundaries. Like for me, I'm having boundaries on moving, but I'm so open to movement. So, how do you do this? How do you negotiate this, right? Well, I think this is a great place for me to segue. Who wants to come in? Jesus wants to come in. So Jesus wants to come in. Now, remembering that I say this every time, that when I channel, I literally have my eyes closed. And oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. No, it's not. I was talking to somebody the other day, and all of a sudden I had the Star Nation as a collective channel through me. And guess who wants to channel through me? They're actually coming in now. So as I channel, I am here to be a voice for you. So your truth is your truth. So remembering that these beings that come in, whew, these beings, I'm holding them off a bay. These beings that are coming in are part of this collection of greatness that is like helping. And so I'm going to step aside here. Dear ones of the world, of the earth, you are coming through the understanding of blessings coming through. You come into your new knowings. Love yourself as you know it. As you come forward into your understandings of who you are and what you do and where you are at, that there are part of this understanding. Be a part of this being. Be a part of who you are. You are amazing. Love yourself. It is time to love yourself. Come into your understanding as this. I had a message for a dear one who was struggling with a relationship split. So in this relationship split, she was wanting this dear one to come back. She has to make up the decision. Does she want someone to come back that is not all of mentalness as he was when he left? He has the wood of PTSD. He has the understanding of hurt and pain and disbelief of what is coming through, as he understood that as his military time was not as he thought of it. So we had the collective understanding that we were to talk to her through this loving being, that does she want someone to come back that is not of all complete mindset as he was when he left. This is a personal choice that everyone needs to have. It is time for you to know that you are doing, as this dear one said the other day, we are doing the collective individual walk. The collective individual walk. Your individual thoughts, your individual understandings, your individual belief system, your individual of making those deep down decisions of movement are part of the big collective shift and change of everyone shifting and changing. So you are responsible for you, your love for yourself, your love and your intentions for who you are, the ones that you are for everybody else. Like this dear one wanted to say, and it popped into her head, so we will say it for her, that as she's watching a video, that do you like to lie to other people? Tell fibs, lie. If you do or you don't, that is up to you. That is a personal choice. The thing is, though, for those that don't, why do you lie to yourself about self love, about self understanding, about self belief in you? Do you take on other people's belief systems? Yes. We, the collective of the universes of the law of creation, we are here to support you in your next step of evolution. Come into yourself in a deeper knowing. It is time for you to be, as this dear one was with a friend and was talking to the trees. She heard the word, shine her light in spite of the realities around her. The tree told her this. We told her this. The collective told her this. Loving her light is part of her new understanding. So when her husband got frustrated with her at lunch today, what did she do? She met his tone, but with loving words. He is at that moment in his reality where he is hearing what she says instead of what she doesn't. He is not as much in his own mind, and that is his scenario, as the word is on your planet, and I love it. His understanding is that his old world is breaking apart and he doesn't know what to do with it. There are many people on this planet of Earth, which is a unique application of creation, as you all have the different mindsets of understanding. With that many are coming into this breaking down of old beliefs, old stories, old knowings. Love that word she uses. Come into who you are, come into your new understanding with grace, love for self. We are all part of the collective change. As you on earth change, we as the earths around you change. Come for your own knowings of love and kindness. The rest will be in alignment with you if they are meant to. Time is shifting, realities are shifting, dimensions, as you call it, are shifting. It is time for you to let the shackles of old realities and unclip them from your wrists and your ankles that have kept you grounded on this earth. It is not time to be grounded right now, but it is not time to be flying around like the eagles you have or the crows that you have, those mischievous little beings. It is time for you to be knowing that when you are safe on this planet, you will consciously be grounded. Us, the collective, are here with you, guiding you through the gardens of societal change and shifts. There are times for you to go forward, and there's going to be times for you to pause. If something is not happening, it is not because it's not working. It is because it is in the works. It has not come into fruition yet. Be kind to yourself as this dear one was today. It was not time to finish the sealing of her realities. She has not formed the new understanding of all her realities yet that sealing represents. Do you see the magic of that? Know that you are loved and you are supported. We, the collective, are here with you. Blessed be in your journeys on this planet. Remember, your vessel is here for a reason at this time. Your vessel, your body, needs to be taken care of at this time. There are others that are wanting to sabotage. We are working with that to help that shift into, we're uncloaking it so that it could be seen. Speak when you need to speak, when you have the opportunity. Otherwise, holding the intention and the values of who you are, like this dear one, even doing her front room, has helped many with her words. Be part of you, be part of us, be part of the universe of divine guidance. You are so loved, the collective. Whew. Hmm. They're an interesting group. That's an interesting energy to hold. I don't really hold, but be with, if that makes any sense. But I felt them just coming in. Whew. So I heard a little bit. So the ceiling is about, I need to create the new realities of what I'm wanting. Makes you go, So now I know when I'm painting that ceiling, what intention to hold. So I'm going to come back to that. What song do you want this new magic coming into this world to represent for you? Makes you go, doesn't it? Makes you go. So it's time for me to do oracle cards. And I appreciate the grace that you all, that was amazing. Thank you, Veronica. Yes, it's time for me to be light. And from when I'm light, I bring in a new vibration, and it's amazing. And I just feel like things are going to be for the better, but we got to get through the computer breaking down, the computer breaking down so that we can have a new understanding, right? Okay. So what cards want to speak for me today? What cards want to come out today? Dragons. Okay. So, no wonder I stopped a little earlier. Okay, so the dragons want to come out. This is Caroline Mitchell, and you're going to have to negotiate with me with reading because I'm reading well today. Speak as I am, right? So this is the deck I'm having. So it's the Dragon Path Oracle cards. It's Caroline Mitchell is the deck. Okay, for those who are on podcast later. And so remembering, if I pull a card for somebody, remembering that if that card that I pull for them resonates with you too, it was a message for you too. This is not just one card fits that one person. It's a collective everything, because there might be a sentence in there that you needed to hear too. So be open. So if you are not getting a card later when you watch this, remembering that these card readings are universal for you too. Okay. Okay, so the first one, Veronica, and then Diane, and then I will do Paula. Hi, Jessica. That your messages. I have a card, please. Yes, you can have one, Jessica. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so this is for you, Veronica. Okay, dragons. You open. Beep, beep. Okay. So platinum, Veronica. Platinum is yours. Look at that card. Isn't that beautiful? Platinum. So that is 23. So 23 is a 5. So platinum. So 25. Hmm. 23. I passed it. Oh, well, I could do the right numbers, right? I was putting okay, platinum. Okay. Like I said, I'm reading well today. I am the keeper of secrets. This incredible being is the guardian of Atlantean temples. He connects with Saint Germain and is the historian of the record keeper of all events during the Atlantean era. He can take you to and bestow upon you the magic encompassed in that time. His message: I am the keeper of secrets, which are as old as the universe itself. I am here to impart the ancient knowledge to you for yourself and others. This wisdom has been hidden for eons and forgotten by many. Now is the time for these memories to resurface and for you to acquire ancient knowledge. Like many things, these secrets have been hidden in plain view. All you need to do is ask to be connected to them. During the meditation, Platinum will show you what to learn to recall, bringing you into a full enlightenment of your new chakra energy, guiding you through the chakra color system. He will make you aware of your healing potential, connect with your abilities deeply, enabling you to clear the lower vibrations from your physical, spiritual bodies, paving a way to you to become a truly awesome spiritual warrior. Wow. Platinum. I hope that helps, because you're ending to new beginning whenever that is meant to happen for you. You know, it's like me. I'm shining my light in spite of the realities around me, right? Time for me to shine my light in spite of the realities around me. Okay. So, Diane, this one is for you. Remember, put out the intention. Okay. Boy, girl, your September's going to be a good shift for you. That's what I'm getting. And you're going to be getting a good shift. There's going to be, and it's not to say that your outer world is going to be interesting, but it's that understanding that you're shifting in you to have your whole, that's the thing is when we shift in us, the whole world can look different because that's our perception, right? It shifts. And that's what I'm seeing for you, that you're on this path, girl. You're on this path. Okay, so this is for Diane. Okay, this one wanted to speak. Okay, this one wanted to speak. Okay, so you're going to have to read that title, that name for yourself. I'm sorry, Diane. So it's Avery McEnrich. Avery McEnrich. Look how powerful. Whew. I love dragon. I love that dragon energy. I love that. So it's it's an 8. Oh no, it's 13. So it's a 10 plus 3, it's 13. Avery McEnrich. Okay. I will guide you to discover the best way you can heal. This dragon comes in with the strength and power to devolve deep into our ancestral past and bring healing. She usually follows the materialic line back through the passage of time. She states, the time has come to release the chains that bind the contained pain from your ancestors, which has been passed down from generations to generations. You do not need to own this, as it is not, and never was, your pain to bear. She reassures us it is safe to explore old family hurts and releases them from her. If she has shown up today in your reading, ask for her wisdom to guide you into the best way to heal the past and move forward into your life. She says, I will guide you to discover the best way you can heal and leave the pain of your ancestors behind. Old family wounds only fester a deeper level if you are not acknowledged and released. They serve you no purpose in your journey now. If the Avery McEnrich has flown into your awareness today, she wants you to visit the old natural temple, stone centers, or other ancient sacred sites that connect your energy to the land there. She asks you to ground yourself, be still, and ask for her guidance. Due to her connection with the Avery Henge, she carries an incredible ancient energy that of the old ways, the shamanic healing of the ancient of England. Her wisdom is as ancient as the land itself. And I know what that name is. I cannot read it right now, so I apologize. Sometimes when I get migraines, my brain gets rewired. Yay! I'm grateful for that. So, but I know that sometimes we can't travel to those ancient lands and that kind of stuff. But what we can do is go to our, like we can hold a crystal that's ancient. We can go to an ancient tree. Like I have old cedars in my yard. So you can go to like some of these, like I have a birch that's very wise and it's old knowing. So go to this understanding of elderness so that you can connect with her understanding. Ooh, powerful, powerful, powerful. Thank you for putting up with my reading today. I so appreciate it. Okay, so Jessica, your turn. Oh no, it was going to be Paula. Paula next, and then woo! You're more than welcome, Diane. So, Grace came for you, Paula. As soon as I said your name, the card popped out. So, Jessica, things will come for you in just a minute. Grace. And if this card resonates with you, Paula, or I mean with you, Jessica, that will happen. So, Grace. So that is 16 is the card number. So 16. But look how she sits on that limb. Oof. Grace. So 16. So Grace. Okay. You are more than you can possibly imagine. This dragon flies into your lives when we have been or are struggling with self-worth, self-respect, self-love issues, or when we have been neglecting ourselves. It's time to look at ourselves and discover who we truly are. We are magnificent human beings who need to find ways to let go of old self-imposed limitations and self-limiting beliefs. There's a theme here, isn't there? Grace words are simple. Stop it now. You are more than you can possibly imagine. You can achieve so much more than you can foresee. Believe in yourself. Push your boundaries of yourself, self-imposed limits. If you don't try, you will never know how successful you can be. And if you perceive that you have failed, remember, there is no such thing as failure, only an experience of learning from. Try again. Dragons have an issue with the word love because we continually misuse it. So they have opted instead of for grace. So instead of using love, use the word grace. They've opted instead for grace, which they tell me is more encompassing and authentic. Grace is a deep acceptance of all that is within and without us. It means the end of struggle for embracing the whole of us we are. Wow, that hit me. Wow. I'm just going to make a little squirrel moment here. I was talking with my husband the other day, and it was over the words, do we have to learn through struggle? Do we have to learn through struggle? And he says, you know what? We have to learn through struggle. I said, why? He goes, because that's the only way we learn is by the way we struggle. And I went, no, I'm done with struggle. So the difference would be, would you want to learn through something broken or something bruised? I would rather learn through something bruised or less than something broken. We don't have to learn through brokenness. We can learn through, yeah, that was an interesting moment, right? So when we're doing through this change, remember, ask for grace. When I tap into that word of grace, it resonates. It resonates so deep. Wow. So when I say I'm asking for grace, I'm asking for love in the language that is deeper than the universe can ever imagine our word that would be. Whew. You're going to have to sit with that one for a few minutes or more. Ooh, that got me. Could you please read that last sentence again? I sure can. Okay, so Grace. That was X and Grace. So the last sentence. I'm going to read that last paragraph actually. Dragons have issued the word has Dragons have an issue with the word love because we constantly misuse it. So they have opted instead for grace, which they tell me is more encompassing and authentic. Grace is a deep acceptance of all that is within and without us. It means the end of struggle through embracing the whole of us we truly are. That was the last sentence, last paragraph, but that last sentence. Grace is the deep acceptance of all that is within us and without us. It means the end of struggle through us we truly are. Mic drop. Okay, one more for you, Paula. I mean, for you, Jessica. Wow, that one. And actually, as I'm looking at this deck, letting go was the top card. Whew. New song coming in, guys. There's a new song coming in. Okay, this is for Jessica. Woo. Mordrin. I think that's how you say that. Mordrin. Ooh, look at the. Ooh, yes, Mordrin. Okay, so this is 25-8. So 28. So that is a 10, which is a 1, which is new beginnings. Oh, you're more than welcome. 20. I'm going to have to read that card again that you had, Paula. 25-3. The Guardian Angels. Mordrin. Only you are the master of your destiny. Mordrin is an... let me start over. Mordrin is an awareness character. Highly powerful and all-encompassing. He will open doors, put people or situations in their path, which all lead you to living your divine purpose. It is his responsibility to guide you to fulfill the connect and... Ooh, why am I struggling with this? I'm done with struggle. Coming into alignment to read it. I'll start over, sweetie. Thank you for putting up. Mordrin is an awesome character, highly powerful and all-encompassing. He will open doors, put people or situations in your path which all lead you to living your divine purpose. It is his responsibility to guide you to fulfill the contract you made in spirit before coming to earth for the incarnation. He says, you are the power. Accept it as your own. Only you are the master of your destiny. His message is clear, so ignore him at your peril. You have a job to do, so let it get on with it. You have the tools and the knowledge you need. Your self-doubt hinders you. Your time is now. The world needs to see your light. Step into your heart, and I will take the journey with you. He continues, your role is to take your light out into the world with me as your guide. Together, we are the master creators. As you discover your life purpose, acknowledge your fears and self-doubt, but do not be bound by them. Do not be bound by your fears and self-doubt, for they cloud your truth. Follow your heart, feeling your way with your truth, your integrity. And I know, my dear, that Jessica, that you going through the grief of your mom and things like that, that he came in pretty powerful for you. But remembering that the journey of your soul is awakening through your grief, and you have a way of negotiating this because you have your story. So believe that the words will come to you when you need them. Your understanding will come to you as you need them. Your benefits will come to you as you need them. Because it's time, you guys. It's really time. Boy, there was some big language in here. And did you get it? That this crescendo of everything coming together was that they were creating a new song. It's up to us to create that new song as individuals so that we can bring it into as a collective. I'm Natasha Venter, intuitiveclarifications.com, loving to support you in your life's journey. If you need any personal assistance, I have time in my schedule that I would love to assist you. And remember, magic is here, but it's unchaining ourselves from our old story, because the Lady of the Lake wants to empower you, to let you know that you have it. Absolute truth, courage, self-respect, responsibility, and it's innate, as above, as below. I hope that everybody knows that you are so loved and that you have the wisdom. It's time to trust that inner gut wisdom. And remembering that life is uncertain right now. We don't know what the truth is. But what we can do in the truth that we find along the way is that we can find that we'll have the truth in the moment of the movement that we're in. That's all we can do, is trust and surrender and accept. Well, may you receive the grace of the universe. May you honor your grace that you have for yourself. And may you embrace the grace that's out there from the universe. And may you find grace for the path that you have in your journey. I'm Natasha Venter, intuitiveclarifications.com, and a butterfly/moth just went up in the shadows. So there's magic going up as the shadows come across. You're more than welcome. Thank you for following me. Thank you for trusting. If you know somebody who can use this, please share. If you have not followed yet, please follow. And remembering that I'm here every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Pacific time, showing some guidance somewhere. And then also, Regan is possibly with me next week because it's the third Wednesday of the month. So I don't know what we're going to talk about, but please remember that any of my videos, if you need to share them, somebody may need to hear them. Blessed be. Bye now.